So this week then, it's been a bit of a harvest extravaganza because as you guys know, we had friends round for a bit of a birthday party and it was our wedding anniversary the next day, and it was great because we fed them all from the garden. So it's been a really busy week. We've been out every day getting bits and bobs done up until then and harvesting since. And that's the thing. I know you guys go on about how neat and tidy our garden is, but it takes a fair bit of work to keep it like that. Honey, that's brown.
Did you want me to paint the table red?
I thought this was the theme that everything was meant to be red.
No.
I saw that. So, you know, it's all the normal jobs, like we seem to just be weeding constantly over the last few weeks, just trying to keep on top of things. Because you know what it's like when you get a bit of sunshine, a bit of rain, suddenly those weeds just appear out of nowhere. So there was all of that. And then, obviously, deadheading as well. All of those pots, planters, containers, hanging baskets, flower beds, everything, you need to keep on top of things like that. The more you pull off all of those passing and dead flower heads, the more new gorgeous colourful flowers you'll get. So if you keep on top of all of that stuff, it's worth it. Not going to lie though, there were points this week where I just thought this is never ending. Now, as you can see, the greenhouse is full to bursting with, don't know if you'll even be able to see, there's no real space in here, heaps of ripe peppers. I harvested that aubergine that was on there. I've got more aubergines here, but they're not quite ready yet. There is just so many tomatoes just now. We just can't keep up with them. And we've got our first ripe olapolka. We've got our first ripe rock caption. We've got our first ripe lata, all in the greenhouse. We've also got our first ripe tomatoes outdoors. I always think it looks really scraggly out here. It's just because Brads have that funny look about them. But, so, same 3 tomatoes out here. And this was the big experiment to see if I could, I'm distracted, hang on. Aphids. This was the experiment. So I thought I wanted to see, can I actually grow tomatoes outdoors in my garden? So what I did was I chose what's called dwarf tomatoes. So you can see this, they're just much, much smaller than your kind of average tomato size, or not tomato, but plant. But what I also did was I chose cherry tomato varieties because I thought a smaller plant, smaller fruit, may have a better chance of ripening in our garden in our shorter season than if I went for sort of big standard tomatoes, since it was an experiment. Now, you've seen the tomatoes that are in the greenhouse are much further on, but that's to be expected, okay, because it's obviously always warmer in the greenhouse. But we've got plenty of tomatoes. So this is the rock caption. So there's 2 little trusses on there. The plant is just chalk and cheese. It's quite a big, tall, lean, single-stemmed almost plant in the greenhouse. You can see it's a tiny little thing here, almost a microtom. So it's just weird the difference that an environment can make. This one is the olapolka. So same sort of idea. It's quite upright, but it's multi-stemmed, but it's not as big as the one in the greenhouse. But again, plenty of tomatoes on there. Just nothing's ripe yet. This one at the back, which has ripe tomatoes, that's the lata. Now, the big difference is the one in the greenhouse is doing much more of a leaning and a sprawling out of the pot. This one's a bit more upright. So, I don't know. Again, I'm getting the first ripe fruit is on this one. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But these 2 at the back, this is a bit of an excitement to it. These are the 2 Brad's Atomic Grape, which were side shoots, or most people say suckers. Steve, think well. These were the ones I planted seriously late in the season. I think it was like well into June or something. Wasn't holding out much hope at all. But both of them, you can see there, have got tomatoes on them. Not ripe yet, but you know, I might actually get some. So this is filling me with a bit of excitement and positivity for next year. So we are definitely going to have a go growing some tomatoes next year. We're thinking we might do a couple of sun golds out here or something. But yeah, the veg bed as well. Hey, let me show you. So the veg beds out here as well have been amazing this week. We pretty much harvested a heap of stuff from them from feeding everyone. So we harvested beetroots from the end bed and we made beetroot hummus. We harvested carrots for carrot salad. We harvested, oh, big excitement. Got beans, look. Beans. Hang on, I need to go and get peppers and tomatoes. Just for anyone that doesn't know the story, yes, this is spring onions, believe it or not. There's a whole story because I planted far too many and haven't been able to use them quick enough, so they're all bulbing up. Need to tidy this lot up and drop it into the house before I come back for the spinach because the basket's full. Menu today is all pizza. We're going to spark up the pizza oven. I do like some spinach on pizza. I'm a bit of a Florentine fan. Just a note, the dwarf courgettes, no, they're just a normal size plant. That one looks smaller because I've had to trim a lot of the leaves, but yeah. So my interplanting idea so didn't work because these guys are massive. But harvesting is cool. And again, cosmos, crocosmia, dahlia, snapdragons, cosmos, crocosmia, rudbeckia, gorge. And, you know, quite smug about my petunias. But look at this. Not all of the pak choy died. You know, some of it did and went in the compost, but you know, some of it might actually end up being harvestable plants if I can keep on top of the beasties. Yeah. It's the thing, even with the nets, there's no guarantee. Aphid city. I'll pinch all the aphids off. But what I wanted to show you was spinach. 2 rows, looking good, happy with that germination. We just have to wait and see if they'll actually produce and not just bolt. Landcress is looking good as well. Got this gap here with a weed in it. Not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm doing that thing just now. I should be starting to think about what I'm going to do in regards to autumn and even winter, but my head's just not there just now, so we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, come on, sunflowers, cosmos, foxgloves, rudbeckia, dahlia, snapdragons, mims, more rudbeckia, more dahlia, more snapdragons, all sorts, and that's just one bed. We're not going to talk about the strawberries. We're not going there. The blackberries have been fab as well. We've had, I think, maybe 3 or 4 boxes, little Tupperware sized boxes of these already, which I made into a coulis for Kate, and she is loving it. But yeah, still going. As you guys know, we've got all the coloured boxes out in the garden that Kate painted. And the lovely Lindsay did us these labels, which I am chuffed with. But the boxes in the greenhouse are full to the brim with compost and coir and stuff, and just too difficult to move. So I just painted the little sort of flaps at the front. So this is the latest piece of fun to the garden. So thank you, awesome Lindsay, thank you so much for doing these. We saw them on her bins and I was so jealous, and she's done me labels for all hours. In doing these, I've discovered though, she did these on her cry cut, and it's the whole transfer thing. Be careful if you're doing this, if you've spray painted your bins the way we have. What we've discovered, you can see here, the paint adheres brilliantly to the metal pots we did. It's not as good on these plastic pots, and I've already did the ones by the compost bin, and the first time I did it, I did the traditional way, putting the transfer down, giving it a good rub, and then trying to lift the backing paper, and the backing paper actually lifted a lot of the paint off, which is why on this one I've been doing it a bit more carefully with just the letters. So something to be aware of if you're doing this on painted bins. So that is a quick beginning of August whirlwind tour of the garden and all the goodies I'm harvesting. See you folks.